from the New York Post. Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zaruska's look of horror after she was fatally stabbed on the train as her final moments are revealed. I'm not going to play the video, guys, here on the show. It is available on the New York Post. It's available all over X. The moment of the stabbing is viewable, the whole video in its entirety. It is extremely graphic, but there is a lot to talk about in the aftermath of this incident, as well as the video's full release. So the first thing I'm going to say is with this video's release, you see almost right away, there's a few things I want to say. This evil psychopath, he stabs her, it appears 3 times. Just rapidly, boom, boom, boom. This poor young woman doesn't even know she was stabbed.
Right.
She's looking around and she looks up in horror. What people don't realize is that when you get stabbed, it just feels like you got punched. And if you know, people watch movies, and in movies, the hero will go bang with a gun and the guy just falls to the ground.
Or flies across the,
right.
You know.
And then not only that, in movies, the hero will punch the guy one time and he'll just go on the ground and lay on the ground forever. Right. None of that happens. This poor young woman got stabbed and she doesn't know. And I'll tell you what's really, really terrifying is then within about 10 or 15 seconds, she collapses and there's a pool of blood on the chair. Now, people have immediately started criticizing the bystanders, the passengers, for not helping. I'm not going to do that to an extent. When the man got up and stabbed her several times in the video, no one knew what happened. He got up and it looked like he was just punching her. And if you're sitting next to her behind, it's just a crazy guy who hit her and she looked fine.
For a second.
For about 15, 20 seconds. She then collapses. And this is where I have concern.
It was a full minute and a half before anyone got
Before anyone, she collapsed on the ground and blood is pooling, and then there's a guy just staring at her. Now, the sad reality is, guys, I know a lot of people want to blame the bystanders, saying they're gawkers doing nothing. I don't think they knew what to do.
But even then, the only thing I would push back on a little bit is, and you're right, because the size of the pocket knife, as small as it was, it's very hard to tell in this video that he was carrying a knife. This was not like some big Bowie knife or a machete or something. It's small. But even if they didn't know she was stabbed, from their perspective, he at least attacked her. So you don't see anyone on or in that car with her say, "Hey, are you okay?" Mm-hmm. Just a very simple, "Hey, are you okay?"
But
nobody says it.
But I half agree. You're sitting there, you're looking out the window. This is what the average person is doing. They're not really paying attention. And within a split second, he goes wham, wham, wham into her. And then you look over, it's already done. You don't know what happened. And so that's why I half agree. Like, if I were there, I have a bit better situational awareness than everyone in this room probably does. And that's my criticism. Not on the individuals, but on our culture that has made soft, ignorant, and unaware individuals who are not paying attention to their surroundings, where this attack could happen, and they're just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not they had no idea what was going on, because I'm going to make the case that the guy in the gray hoodie and the black pants that immediately after the stabber walks away muttering. We know from footage he's muttering, and you can hear that. The guy
I got the white girl.
Right.
Well, sounds like
the guy with earbuds will say he can't hear anything, but he was definitely in line of sight to see it. This man gets up and just walks out right after, head down, like, I ain't got time for this. He's going to leave. So he knows something happened. He chose what he doesn't want is to wait for the police to show up and start asking questions. I hate that.
I want to stress this for those, if we can pull up this news article. The image you see with Iryna Zaruska right here with her hand over her mouth, this is after she had already been stabbed.
Yep.
And what I think a lot of people don't realize, this photo's not graphic. There's
blood on the floor.
She has been fatally stabbed.
She has been fatally stabbed several times. Yeah. And if you showed this photo to someone and said, this is a bust, they'd be like, okay.
Right.
No one looks at this photo and goes, oh my God, look at this photo. People don't understand. Now, I will say another thing. I don't think, the reason why I'm upset people didn't intervene and stop the guy is actually because they didn't know he had a knife. If somebody is brandishing a knife, I am not surprised no one will intervene. It is not like the movies where the guy with the knife swings at you, you grab his arm and flip him over. That doesn't happen.
No, but nobody says anything on the subway. I mean, I've been on the subway multiple times and been harassed by homeless people or crazy people and stuff, and the people on the subway around you, they just look away because they're just glad that you're the one that's being targeted and not them. I mean, I've had it's dangerous. It feels really scary. I've been cornered by people.
What I'm saying is,
and nobody comes to help you no matter what.
Right. If the guy,
unless there's Daniel Penny, or like old women.
Right. If the guy was holding a 12-inch buck knife, I'd be like, I am not surprised. Everyone backed off. But my point is, no one knew he had a knife. You'd expect them to actually stop him.
Can we show that other picture where she's like, where she's like actually looking at him?
Side.
You've got it up here. I don't know where in the video.
That's the one, yeah.
But you can see it.
And that's after she's been stabbed.
She's been stabbed, and that's, I mean, that image. If we lived in a serious country, that image would be on the front page of every single newspaper tomorrow. It would be pushed on every social media platform. I mean, it's beyond her
beyond
being
murals,
Ukrainian. It is beyond her being.
She's a Ukrainian refugee. Every Democrat should have been like, "What is going on?"
Okay,
but we have to go to war because potentially some drones crossed in from Ukraine. We have to go to World War III. But when Zelensky hasn't said anything about her. Zelensky hasn't said a single word. I've not been able to find it.
One of his citizens.
That's one of his citizens who's been killed.
Who's been forced out of the country because of this war.
Well, and you know what's crazy is we had my wife, who's from Belarus, originally here on the show on Human Events earlier today, and she said that one of the pieces that, because she's been talking about this with her mom's group for weeks, and just said, why isn't this going? You know, prior to this, why is nobody talking?
Well,
we actually have a larger.
The
photo is actually
there's the photo, yeah.
And because the video wasn't really.
She said, you know, the father. This is going back to the war. Her father. So she was actually buried on, I think, August 27th, and so this is a while ago. So it took a while for this to come up.
August 22nd that
because
she was killed.
right because the videos haven't come out yet, and she was saying that her own father wasn't able to come for the funeral because of martial law in Ukraine, and military-age men can't come. And I said, well, wait a minute. She was 23. How old's the dad? In his 50s.
So I have a question for you guys, because there's been a lot of criticism online of her for two reasons.
Excuse me?
Oh, yes, that's right. She's seen in a photo in a room with a BLM poster. Now, fact checkers say it's not her bedroom. It's another friend or family member's.
Right.
And the argument that people are putting forward is, she is still in this political space that is allowed for and encouraged this behavior. I think that's ridiculous. I mean,
so she should die?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because my argument is this. Literally every day, conservatives are begging liberals not to hurt themselves. They're like desperately telling them not to get abortions or sterilize their kids, trying to help them live better. The argument that because she has a BLM poster in her bedroom is the antithesis of what conservatives or the right has been arguing the whole time, which is, we know you're wrong. We're trying to help you be right so you don't get hurt.
But it's that particular argument, which is why, from my perspective, I completely throw all of the blame on all of the individuals on that car who watched. According to the photos, we see they watched that happen. There's reports that the blood was dripping off of the knife as soon as he pulled it out of her and starts walking away.
Oh, yeah.
No one goes to her at all. But this is the same crew. I guarantee if you did a little NBC poll, little panel, said, how many of you would help someone if there was a fire? They think they're all heroes. They think they're wonderful because they affirm all of this garbage.
Man.
And yet they wouldn't come to the aid of anyone.
Now, there's another area of criticism, and that is there's another camera angle, which is I guess it's the wider view where you can see her on the left, and people are pointing out there are empty seats with the back to the window around the door. That if she had walked in paying attention and sat away from this man,
right? But there's a lot of I know from New York subways, and on New York subways, you don't want to sit by the door because people
steal from you.
When you stop, people come in the door, steal from you, and then go running. So you tend to want to sit in seats that are further back.
I guess.
Now, this guy, maybe he didn't look crazy to her. Maybe he was just sitting there quietly or whatever before this all happened, and so she sat down. You tend not to want to sit near people who are crazy, but we don't know what was happening right before.
So well, actually we do. There is a longer video where he's just sitting there.
He's just sitting there, right?
And she comes in and she sits down. Something else that Tanya had mentioned, my wife, who's from Eastern Europe, had mentioned, was that when you're a new immigrant to the United States, especially from Eastern Europe, you don't know all of these sort of
Cultural cues.
rules and cues that America has because it's just completely foreign to you. But what's something that's not foreign is riding the train. Because in Eastern Europe, everybody rides the train.
Right.
Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, it is Poland. It is just very accessible. It's very easy. And most people don't even drive if they live in a big city. And crime like this just doesn't exist. It is not something you've ever encountered before in your life. So you wouldn't even, you're talking about situational awareness. She comes from a place where you don't need that.
Right.
And she assumed she was safe, and why assume otherwise?
She's on her phone.
In Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, I would assume I was safe in Charlotte, North Carolina.
The commentary.
No way.
I've never been there, so what do I know?
Oh, okay.
the posts, people are pointing out that, so Brian Stelter, I'm sure you guys saw, he said, "Oh, the racism."
Yeah, he was calling it racist. He was saying that it was like politically motivated rhetoric talking about all of this.
There were posts where people were saying things like, back in the day, if you were walking down the street and a woman walking down the street, there's a black person towards her, she'd move her purse to the other side or she'd cross the street. But then in the past 10 years,
racists would do that.
Exactly. In the past 10 years, the BLM narrative mocked women who would move the purse to the side or cross the street. And I'm going to be honest, it's pretty brutal to just because you're a black guy, people are like, I don't trust you. That's a brutal way to live. But the point I'm making is that the rhetoric on X that I'm assuming this is what Brian Stelter is talking about. I wouldn't call it the most racist thing in the world. Is people saying if she held that distrust, she'd be alive.
Right.
And so what do you tell people when you see stories like this and you look at the crime data that was on Fox News just the other day? That Grok even confirmed that I posted from ChatGPT that interracial violence, black on white, is 26 times higher than white on black. My point is not to tell people to literally we don't want racism. We need to address the existing racism. And if this guy, it appears he says, I got that white girl, then I'll just put it like this. I was talking to Viva Fry earlier, and he said, you've got a guy who's clearly crazy. He's been in and out of jail, and he's been inundated with the message for 10 years that white people are evil. This is the racism. And then to advance the conversation from there, we'll talk about the Charlie Kirk Van Jones thing in a second.
It really reminded me of this old play by Amiri Baraka, who was Leroy Jones until he changed his name, this playwright out of Newark. And he wrote a play called Dutchman. I think it was in the 70s. And it was a play about... Yeah, well, you'll understand, you'll recognize it. So it takes place on a New York City subway, and it's a black guy riding the subway, and a white girl gets on, and she's sort of vaguely flirting with him. And the way that it's set up, you think that something bad is going to happen to her from this guy, but then she does she stab him to death or shoot him to death? She kills him. And so the idea is, don't trust your impulses. Don't trust the thing that you're probably just racist.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.